Uh, so I just had a thought, and I wanted to share this thought with you. Um, I had this realization yesterday, where what I realized is that I'm gonna use myself as an example here. Okay, I live my life around people, around things, jobs, technologies, businesses, school, cultures, habits, food, consumptions, content, stuff, right? There's stuff happening in my life. There's stuff, there's people doing things, the people around me are doing things. And I've been having some form of identity crisis the past couple of weeks. I spent the last 2 weeks in my neighboring country, Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah, working there. Um, and I just got back here in Kuwait yesterday. And what I realized is this is a very profound realization. I'm going to have a lot of difficulty kind of integrating it into the rest of me. Um, what I think of as myself, what is me, what is in the world that's me, and what's outside of me, the boundaries between me and outside of me, what I bring to the table versus what's brought to my table from the outside world, from other people. I used to look at my room and think, this is my creation. This is here because of who I am. Because I am who I am, this is my room. This is my chair. That's my TV. That's the piano that I haven't played in months. That's the whiteboard that I use myself. All of this is me. This is what I brought to the table. That's the difference between me and the world, right? But, but what I realized the past couple of days is that not really. I was away from this environment for 2 weeks, and I and my world around me, and my habits, and my psyche, my chemistry, my emotions, my thoughts, my habits, my tendencies, my character, even the way I speak, even the way I think, even my habits, stuff I like, stuff I don't like, everything was different. And it was different when I changed my environment. I, myself, whatever me is, whatever I am, I haven't changed. I just physically moved from one location to another location. I've been interacting with the same colleagues also. So, you know, I expected things to be the same. And when I came back, it's like I went back to the way I was before, right? To the way I was before the 2 weeks I spent abroad. Um, my habits changed overnight. My hobbies, my interests, my desires, my plans, what I want out of my life, what I want to do, what I want for myself, what I want to purchase, what I want to spend my money on. It all changed. My emotions, my desires, my thoughts, everything changed. And it's not, I mean, this is partly because of like my room, let's say, is it's a combination of me and my environment. They're kind of me and my environment are kind of mixing together, and the result is my room, it's my habits, my personality. But I never realized how much we are influenced by the world around us, by the environment we surround ourselves in. I used to think we're influenced a lot, but it seems like we are almost entirely determined by our environment, or at least me. I'm just going to talk about me. That I am almost entirely determined by my environment. Little of me is coming from me. Most of it is coming from the people around me, the physical space around me, the air conditioning around me, the services that are available to me in my country, the technologies that make certain things easier, they make me do those easier things more than the other more difficult things, simply because those things are easier to do. So even the businesses in my society, they change my personality, they change my habits, they change my thoughts, my patterns, my emotions, my chemistry, everything. Everything that I experience is determined by the outside world. So, what is me that's independent from the outside world? It turns out it's a very tiny, also extremely significant, but very tiny speck in the ocean, in the in the beach, in the sands of the beach. It's turning out to me that what I am is an agent of influence. I influence the forces that are being applied to me. I influence those, and I push them around just subtly and slightly so that I experience what I want to experience. And it seems to me that like most of what I do as a human being, as a conscious aware agent, is what is it? Wait. Okay, I can't pause this video, so you'll have to watch me think. Um, so I'm exposed to energies, flows of energy, and they have their force applied to me. What I do in my daily life, what I do when I'm living, is I channel the energy that's being applied to me, I channel it somewhere else. And that's where intelligence comes into play. As a conscious aware agent, I'm aware of the different forces being applied to me. I channel some into other areas that need to have something happen to them. This way I can fill a void over there by taking excess energy from one area and channel it somewhere else that is lacking energy. And everything I do, every job that I do, every habit, every time I eat, every time I say something to someone else, every time I talk, every time I do anything that I do, I'm channeling different forms of energy from one area to another area. I can never create any energy. All that I'm able to do to influence the world, I also get from the world, but from a different place. And so I can only play with the cards I'm dealt. If I change my location, I'm dealt different cards, so I'm able to do different things. But the things that I do, the words that I say, the habits, the clothes that I wear, the hair that I style, the things I purchase, the physical space around me, this life, this whole outside thing, this whole life, it's not me. It's only what I'm able to do with the cards that I'm dealt. That's it. Um, and and I used to think that with the same cards, someone who's better than me can do better things. But and so there's this idea that if I'm as good as this other person, I'd be able to do more with the same cards that I'm dealt than what I'm currently doing. That that tends to make me think that what I'm doing, the chair in my room, the desk over there, those are a reflection of my worth and competence as a human being relative to someone who's better than me, who can do more with the same cards, with the same resources. But there's something wrong with that idea, because there's something like fundamentally wrong with this idea, because it's it's not, life is not a one-dimensional thing. It's not that I'm trying to do the same thing that someone else is doing. So someone else might get the same energy, might be dealt the same cards as me, and they would do, let's say they would build a better room, let's say. They care about the room that they're building. That's what they want to do. If you give the same cards to a third person, they might not build the same room that I'm building. They might build a worse room, let's say. Um, but we, we humans are very multidimensional, complex, sophisticated, and multifaceted and nuanced beings. Okay, we don't exist in this one dimension of how good a room can you make. We exist on infinitely, maybe not infinitely, but we exist on so many dimensions. We care about one dimension more than others as individuals. Yeah. So personally, I don't care that much about building the most perfect room. I would like to build the perfect room. I feel kind of bad if my room isn't as good as I would like it to be. Um, but my room isn't my top priority. There's something else I value more. There's something else that I'm channeling my energy towards a lot more than my room. You know. Um, so yes, someone else could build a better room with the same resources. Someone else could build a better life, better habits, a better physique, a better personality, a more charismatic character. I mean, a better character, a more charismatic personality, with the same energy that they get from my environment. That is perfectly true. But they wouldn't be able to do the same in, in a different area of life. They wouldn't be able to do as good a job as I am doing. I don't exactly know what this dimension, what this area of life is. Maybe it's philosophy, maybe it's spirituality. I seem to spend a lot of my mental energy in those two areas. Um, so maybe someone else who could build a better room wouldn't be as philosophically sophisticated as I am. You know, so it makes it's a stupid idea. It makes no sense to judge myself for the room that I'm building if that's not my top priority. In fact, even if it is my top priority, I don't think I should be judging myself and comparing myself to that. It's a bad idea. Because, so I look at this room and I think this room is not that good. I don't like it. And so I think, why not try to make it better? And then I think, I don't feel like it. It's too difficult. I don't feel like going to buy a chair to replace this crappy one. I just don't want to do it, you know? Um, I forgot where I was going with this. Um, right, so instead of me judging myself for this room that I'm building, maybe the judgment should be placed somewhere else. Maybe the judgment should be placed on the environment I'm put in, you know? I didn't create this environment. This environment is a collective effort by the entire society. In fact, it's a collective effort by all of humanity. So it's not entirely a reflection of me and my value as a human being. Because I could just as well go to a different environment and have a better room, right? So is the state of this room my fault? it's at least partly my responsibility, if not entirely my responsibility. But if it's not on, but if it is subpar, that doesn't mean that I am subpar. Um, uh, oh man, I'm tired. Okay. Yeah, so I've just been realizing that a lot of what I experience, it's only partly me. It's only partly because of my part in it. Only partly. I can't control anything. I can only influence things. I can control nothing. I don't believe that I, as a human being, have the capacity to control anything, to completely determine the destiny of anything, anyone, or any object at all. I think I only have the capacity to influence things. But those same things are also influenced by other forces, other things other than me. So I'm never ever completely responsible or completely accountable for the outcome of any single thing. Only partly. And there's a liberty in that because that means that I can only contribute to things, but I'm not dependent on the result or outcome or destiny of anything on the outside on my outside world, on the environment and other people. I'm never accountable for any final result. I'm only accountable for my contribution to it. That's it. Of course, that doesn't mean that I'm not accountable for anything. I'm accountable for my part in things, for what I do with things, my contribution to things, my influence to things. Like at my job, especially as a teacher, I'm not responsible. I'm not entirely accountable for if any student learns something or doesn't. I'm accountable for if I teach them or not, if if I contribute to their learning or not, and how much I contribute. But it's not entirely in my hands whether they learn it or not. It's partly in theirs. It's partly on the environment created by the company. It's partly on the culture that we live in. It's partly on the people who built the technologies that I'm teaching. It's not entirely on me. But what is on me is my contribution to things. It's my contribution to, 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 to the learning and the education of my students. I'm accountable for my contribution to building my room. I'm accountable for um, my contribution to the lives of the people around me. But if their lives suck, that's not on me. If my life sucks, it's partly on me. It's actually the same that if other people's lives suck, it's sometimes it's partly on me too if they're close to me, but only partly. If my life sucks, it's more of it is on me than it would be if someone else's life sucks. You know what I mean? Because I have more influence over my life than I have over someone else's life, no matter who that person is. No matter how close to me they are, I'm only able to influence their life partly. So if I'm not happy, I used to think that means I should will myself into happiness somehow. Like just realize that my life is great. Like I have safety, I have food, I have snacks. You know, I have safety, I have a job, I got money, I'm secure. There's no crime, there's no war, there's no invasions. So I should be happy. So if I'm not happy, it's my fault. It's a horrible thing to make someone think. It's a horrible thing to do to someone. If I'm not happy, if I'm miserable, there's a reason for that. It's not entirely my fault that I'm miserable. Maybe it's partly my fault. Maybe I'm being an ungrateful bastard. And maybe I should just bring awareness to how great my life is and realize that things aren't so bad. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe there's an actual, valid, serious, real reason for my misery. You know? Maybe what I have to do is change my environment. Maybe what I have to do is try new things, get out of my comfort zone. But maybe there's a reason I'm not able to get out of my comfort zone also. So just keep in mind, Jenny. I mean, don't keep in mind, I don't really care, but I'm just saying here that at the end of the day, the I only have influence over things. And that influence is limited. And I am not the state of my room. I am not the state of my finances. I'm not the state of my company and business. It's not my company, but the company I work at. I mean, um, I am not the state of anything. The world could be burning in hell, and I'm exactly the same person. The burning in hell part, in like the world burning in hell, doesn't necessarily mean that I am the one who caused it. The world is under the influence of countless other things. I'm only one tiny influence. I'm still quite a significant. Like I have, a, as a human being, I have the potential to be a very significant influence, but still, there's many other human beings with the same exact potential. So, if something is going wrong, that's not necessarily a reflection of my worth and value and competence. I mean, not competence, but it's not exactly a reflection of me. If the world's going badly, that doesn't mean I have to too. And there's a peace with that. There's a peace that comes with that. Is that it means it means my peace, my sanity, my my well-being, my or whatever the ultimate value is. Like people usually think that happiness is the goal of life or something like that. But I'm starting to think maybe it's peace, or maybe it's not peace. Maybe it's something else. But whatever that thing is, um, it's not dependent on on my environment. It's not dependent on how the world is going. If if my company goes bankrupt and I get like and I don't have a job anymore, I'll still be fine because the company going bankrupt, it's not. I mean, the company is under my influence, but it's also under the influence of other people, of the market, of the customers, of countless other things. So it's going wrong doesn't have to reflect on me. It reflects on my competence, but my competence doesn't have to reflect on me. You know, um, behind all of this is the question of what is me, and the profound realization that I found is that me, this me that's independent of everything else other than me, is a very, very, very small part of my life. It's not small in significance. It really is not. It's very, very. It might be the single most significant single piece of my life, but it is only a single tiny piece under the influence of mountains, of oceans, of armies, of other forces. You know, like the tensions that I hold in my body. Those aren't. Well, they're not me. I am not the tensions. The tensions they happen to me. They're under the influence of me releasing them. Like I have the capacity to release the tensions, but tensions aren't me. They're not me. They're there. They're happening to me. They come from the outside world. Okay, but I have the but I but I have enough influence to do something about it. But again, the point I'm trying to make here is that they're not me. My finances, they're not me. My My life situations, my video games, all of this is not me. I mean, look at this. I, to get my chair, let's say, to buy the video games that I have, let's say, I took in money, I threw it somewhere else, and I got a video game. I channeled the energy of the money. I took it from someplace and I threw it over there. I just channel stuff around. I just move stuff around. That's what I do. You know. That's all that I do is I just move stuff around that's already there. I don't add anything. I don't remove anything. I don't create anything. I don't like I can only construct something by channeling stuff around it towards the same structure, towards the same location to build a structure. So if I'm building a structure, that's taking away from stuff from around the structure to pull them together into one area. That's how I construct something. But I don't just will the construction into being. I channel it from other areas. And I'm thinking that, yeah, I mean, I've made my point. I've said what I said like 1,000 times. I just have difficulty ending conversation or a video. But you get, but you get what I'm trying to say. I said what I had to say. You see, it's difficult to actually apply this to myself. See, like, I, I can know this thing, but it's difficult to actually integrate it into my personality and actually apply it to myself. Because right now, I feel responsible, not responsible, I feel accountable for for you getting the message I'm trying to convey. I spent 25 minutes trying to just make sure you get it, you know? But I can't make sure you get it. And and if I actually applied this in the video, you know, I would have said what I had to say in the first 5 minutes, maybe, and stopped the video then. But I continued after that because I felt the usual feeling that if you don't get it, that's a reflection on me. It means I didn't say what I had to say. That means it's my fault, but it's not. I mean, not necessarily. You know, it depends. Again, depends on my contribution, which is what I said. Anyways, I'm gonna stop the video here. Um, yeah. Bye bye.